This is William P Treacy here. I told you in the last video number 2, that I would speak about the Minister for Justice involvement in my case, the Attorney General and the Taoiseach. But I need to go back a little bit for you to understand maybe a little bit more clearly. And this involves this letter I told you about, the 2nd of the 11th, 2011, the Taoiseach, Minister Simon Coveney, where he said that in this letter that he had no jurisdiction, no responsibility or no role regarding my case. But yet this same minister that had no jurisdiction and no role made sure to print out to the Oireachtas Committee on Agriculture that a statement that favoured HRI and the Turf Club, but he never made any comment regarding the evidence that he had in his possession regarding William Treacy gave him. So this is a very relevant letter. This was a minister who covered up wrongdoing involving innocent animals and public money wrongdoing. Now, for a minister to say he had no jurisdiction and his department had no jurisdiction, let me give you a letter here dated the 28th of February 2013. This is from Alan P. O'Brien in the Department of Agriculture, whom I wrote to regarding what you've seen in the last video, the vet's report on my horse Rio Grande and the vet's report, which was not my horse, Rio Grande. Because I notified Alan P. O'Brien, this is the higher welfare officer by the way in the Department of Agriculture, I notified Alan P. O'Brien that the vet's report that the Turf Club was talking about and wouldn't release it was not on my horse. And it was belonged to a horse I believed was in England in a trainer's name, Anne Duffield. This department that said they had no jurisdiction, Alan P. O'Brien took my correspondence, dissected it, put it back together so as that it showed the Turf Club were not involved in wrongdoing. Let me read out to you a little bit of what he says. He says, the department has received written information from the Turf Club that the horse inspected was in fact Rio Grande. In some correspondence, Rio Grande was inadvertently referred to as Rio Grande, but this was purely due to a typographical error. Now you've seen from the video number 2, the last video, that the vet J.P. O'Donnell didn't make a typographical error. He's the man that signed the vet's report on a horse Rio Grande. So this was the department, Alan P. O'Brien, engaging in jurisdiction, engaging with a role, engaging with responsibility, the total opposite of what Minister Coveney was telling everyone neither him or his department had. So this went on further. The Secretary General of the Department of Agriculture, Tom Morden, wrote to the Public Accounts Committee the 24th of October 2013. Again, with all the evidence they had in their possession, they never reflected any of my evidence, my comments, my correspondence in what they said. Again, Tom Morden went out of his way to show that the Turf Club had investigated all my complaints and no wrongdoing was found. Now this is the Secretary General, Mr. Tom Morden. And the meaning of my suffering, the meaning of my correspondence by this gentleman was absolutely appalling and disgraceful, while being in possession of evidence that showed horrific wrongdoing and neglect by the Turf Club and Horse Race in Ireland regarding what happened to my horses. Now, how did they all arrive at this? This letter, the 24th of October 2013, this letter, the 28th of February 2011, this letter, the 2nd of November. Surely all of this had to start somewhere. Someone was showing loyalty to the Turf Club and Horse Race in Ireland and was showing total contempt for what William Treacy was raising. Well, let me give you a little idea of how this came about and who was behind it. So if you'll bear with me for a wee moment until I get, because as you can look around this table, there is astronomical paperwork, which is still only a fraction of the paperwork that I will be producing. Here we have, I wasn't supposed to get this, by the way. This was withheld from me. A 2-page briefing letter, the 31st of March 2011, signed by Emer McGeough. Emer McGeough was the liaison official between the Department of Agriculture and the Turf Club and Horse Race in Ireland. Emer McGeough, to our own minister this was sent to, Emer McGeough told the minister that the Turf Club provided a second veterinary report on the horse in question, prepared on behalf of the trainer complained of. This second veterinary report was in direct conflict with the veterinary report obtained by Mr. Treacy on the same horse. But it wasn't the same horse as you've seen in the last video. It was a different horse. The veterinary report they produced was not on my horse, was on a totally different horse. So Emer McGeough, on writing this letter, Emer McGeough goes on to say in this letter, and there's a few shocks here for quite a few people, believe it or not. Emer McGeough regarding public money. In this letter, this 2-page briefing letter, the 31st of March 2011, Emer McGeough states, HRI, Horse Race in Ireland, is responsible for the integrity of horse racing across the entire island of Ireland. But when I asked the CEO of Horse Race in Ireland, Brian Coveney, is it true what the department has said, that it is you, Horse Race in Ireland, are responsible for the integrity of racing? Brian Coveney, on the 27th of May 2013, in point 2, he says, no, the Turf Club is responsible for the integrity of horse racing in Ireland. So we have the people give the money to the department, the people that receive it. This is what's happened to me. I was lied to, misled, deceived. But one thing for sure, the money, the taxpayers' money, the citizens' money was paid over. And this organisation, which according to the Department of Agriculture was responsible for the integrity of racing, made out to me that they weren't. Why did they make out that? They made out because they knew the Turf Club were involved in wrongdoing. And in order to throw me off, that I wouldn't know where to turn to get answers, they decided to play the game, pass the buck, give the runaround. That's why there's a roundabout above between Horse Race in Ireland and the Turf Club in Ballymena and the Curragh. They send you around it so many times that you get sick of it and you end up going off down the motorway home. Unfortunately for them, I didn't go down the motorway. I kept looking for the truth. Emer McGeough, in this briefing letter again, states that the department does not have a legislative basis to enter a trainer's yard or investigate matters complained of. The Turf Club is designated under the Horse Race in Ireland Act 94. Legislation to HRI includes the overall management of horse racing. The overall management of horse racing. Now, I want to get to a very important issue here in this, because this goes a lot further. On the 27th of May 2011, I went to a meeting in the Department of Agriculture at 11 AM on the 27th of May 2011. That meeting I went to with 2 of my colleagues. Went on for 1 hour and 50 minutes. Emer McGill, again, did not report of the meeting. She did not itemise what I said, what I asked, what I complained about. She trivialised it. This briefing letter was sent to her own minister. Emer McGill deceived her own minister even on the meeting that I, the victim, went and sat down. So Emer McGill has some serious questions to answer. Now, this Emer McGill, they said they had no jurisdiction. Here is a fax that was sent by the Turf Club the same day as Emer McGill's 2-page briefing letter, the 31st of March. And they said they had no jurisdiction, no responsibilities or no role. But yet Emer McGill was in contact with the Turf Club and had, as Dennis Egan writes here, as discussed, please see attached a copy of the letter to you the 8th of March 2011. The letter the 8th of March 2011. What is entailed in that letter? Well, if you bear with me, I will show you what is entailed in it. It's a letter which is on the horse Rio Grande, not my horse at all. And the Turf Club says, in view of the above, as far as the Turf Club is concerned, we do not say any reason why any further investigation should take place. The wrong horse, someone else's horse, not my horse, no need to investigate. Emer McGill was fully involved in this. Here is a very important letter. Letter the 2nd of May 2012. The Turf Club now state, this is a very important letter. These allegations were fully investigated by the Chief Veterinary Officer Dermot Mulveen and the Head of Security Chris Gordon, who met with the trainer in February 2011 to go through the various allegations made by Mr. Treacy. They also considered the contents of a veterinary report that was prepared by the vet, Mr. O'Donnell, who examined my horse, but he didn't examine my horse because it said he examined a different horse, Rio Grande. Now, these two people, the veterinary officer, Mr. Mulhern, and the head of security, Chris Gordon, these people were given the vet's reports. That vet report by that trainer. Wouldn't one think that they would have seen instantaneously that that vet's report is not on this man's horse, William Treacy's horse, at all? So the Turf Club knew what they were doing. It was a fabrication, it was a cover-up, it was concealment. They knew welfare rules were silent. As they stated in their letter, the 8th of 12th 2010, and my whole case had to be covered up no matter what.